Most people think starting a type beat channel is easy. I thought so too, but it's hard work, especially when you're getting into it not really knowing what you're doing. That's what happened to me. But after 5 years and 813 videos uploaded, I've gotten 14 million views and almost 50,000 subscribers. Selling beats online allowed me to get major label placements and become a full-time music producer. So today, I'm gonna save you all the time and mistakes I had to go through, and I'm gonna share the 7 things I wish I knew when I first started my channel. And make sure to stay to the end because the last one is really gonna surprise you and help you make way more money selling your beats. Number 1. Not every beat you post will sell. When I first started, I thought every single beat that I posted was gonna get sales, whether it was just like 1 or 2 here and there or consistently. It was always gonna be bringing traffic in and making money. But what I learned is that's not the case at all. There's gonna be a clump of beats that you probably like 5 or 10 beats that are doing really well, and everything else is basically just gonna be driving traffic to your most popular beats. In the beginning, I felt kind of bad about this. I was like, oh, maybe I'm not a great producer or I'm doing this wrong. But when I talked to other really successful BeatStars producers, they said it's the exact same thing for their channels. So it's kind of this like mindset shift that I had to make, which is at the end of the day, as long as you're getting beat sales, it's a win and that's a success. And the way I like to look at it is you have your main beats that are selling, like I said, that big group that are at the top, and those are your horses, and you want to just let your horses ride. If you're trying to get every single beat that you're posting to get sales, it's just not going to happen. Focus on your horses, let them ride, and just make sure that you know that everything is bringing traffic in. And there's this rule in business called the 80-20 rule, which I think really applies here, which basically means that 80% of your revenue is going to come from 20% of your products, or it works in so many different ways. Like 20% of your customers are going to bring in 80% of your profit, things like that. And this really makes sense for us producers because you're probably going to find, I know for myself as well, that 80% of the profit that you're making from selling beats is going to come from these 20% of beats that you're posting. And that's where the majority of your revenue is coming from. And truly, you're not going to know like when you strike gold and which ones are kind of flops. So just make the beat, upload it, move on. Number 2, SEO is 90% of the type beat game. There's an old saying that goes, it's not the music business, it's the business music. And I think that that works so well here when it comes to selling beats online because it truly is what's going on behind the scenes in the business of it, not exactly how fire your beats are. Don't get me wrong, you need to have great quality, but really the major percentage of your success is going to be coming from the business and the SEO that you're doing on YouTube. Because you could have the best beats on earth, but if no one's searching for them, they're not going to get sales. So the way I like to look at it is the more views you get, the more sales you're gonna get. All your effort should be spent on trying to figure out what your keywords are, what your niche is, so that you're getting as many eyes on your videos as possible and getting in good with the algorithm so it starts recommending your videos to lots more people. And to do this, you're really gonna need to get a YouTube tool like vidIQ or TubeBuddy. I've talked about it a lot in the past. I personally use vidIQ and I love it. It's like so great. I know it's kind of expensive, but the reality is if you don't have a keyword tool or anything like this, like a YouTube tool like this, it's gonna make it so hard and it's gonna become a guessing game. And that's what I always recommend people do when they're trying to figure out their niche. Like take what you're making and what people are searching for and then find the happy medium and where they intersect and choose that for your niche. But yeah, I know that some of these tools are expensive, but at the end of the day, they're really a necessity. So if you need to save up and only get like vidIQ or TubeBuddy for 1 month just to figure out and really nail down what your niche is, I'd recommend doing that even before you start posting because SEO is huge when it comes to growing your channel and then ideally getting more beat sales. And then when you're using these tools, you're looking for keywords that have high search volume and low competition. And by going for these types of keywords and using these tools, it just takes all the guesswork out of it because like I said, you shouldn't be going into having a type beat channel guessing what's going to be popular, what's going to be successful for you. You should already have an idea, but if you put in consistent work and really do this, like consistently posting, like I recommend for 6 months, really going in on a niche and posting consistently, you're definitely going to have success. It's not if, it's just when. And I've talked a lot about SEO strategies. I'm not going to put it all here, but go check out some of my other videos. I talk a lot about it. There's definitely things you can be doing. There's some tricks to the trade that can really level up your channel, get more eyes on it, and keep people on your videos longer, which is going to get YouTube to recommend your videos to more people. All right, number 3, you need to add master royalty language to your license agreements. So just to give you kind of a quick overview, for every song, there's 2 copyrights. So you've probably heard of publishing. That's one of the copyrights, which comes from the composition. And then there's the second copyright, which is the sound recording, which we also call the master. And between the two, YouTube, publishing is super important, don't get me wrong, but the master pays out way more than publishing. Don't get me wrong, you should definitely have your publishing too, and you can make a lot of money from publishing, but just the way it all shakes out, master royalties are gonna pay out way more. And this is why you need to put master royalty language in your license agreements so you're automatically getting this. Because when you get a major label placement, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna be getting producer points or master royalties along with your publishing and along with your production fee. This is something that even if someone's getting a $30 beat lease from you, you need to be getting master royalties from it. So let me give you a quick overview of how to add this to your BeatStars contract. All right, so you're just gonna wanna go to your BeatStars dashboard. And then once you're in studio, you're gonna wanna go here below dashboard and go to contracts. And real quick, before we continue on, you're gonna need to add this to every single one of your license agreements. I already have it, but I'm gonna show you how it looks. Say you wanted to add it to your basic license. You go over here, press these 3 dots, and then press edit. But then you go here and press contract. You go to full customization. What you're gonna wanna do is go down, and if you don't already have it, I'd recommend adding a producer royalties paragraph, which is gonna be after all the information about your PRO and your publishing. So what I did is I added a paragraph right here, which is under mechanical royalties. And then what I recommend and what I have in mind says, for producer's production of the beat you intend to use in the new recording, you agree to pay producer 30% of everything you make from the new recording. And I have other language after it. It definitely is not needed to put that in there. But if you have this in there, that is saying, yo, if there's any master royalties, which is all of the things that are becoming from the new recording, which is the song they're making with your beat, you're entitled to X percentage of it. When it comes down to what percentage you want to be asking for, that is totally up to you. For me, I have it as 30%, but you could have it as 20%, 25%. I'd recommend though, do no less than 20% because 20% basically equates to 3 producer points, which is the industry standard. So do no less than 20%. But so this would go here, like I said, after the PRO registration information, which is all the publishing information. And some people might be like, yo, what are master royalties? Is that producer points? Is that sound exchange? Like, what is that? Again, just to make it really simple, master royalties are producer points. What happens is though, producer points are mainly going to be if you're working with a major label. But 9 times out of 10, when we're doing license agreements with independent artists, these people are releasing on like DistroKid, CD Baby, United Masters, things like that. So don't worry about producer points for those because like DistroKid has the ability for you to get master royalties. They can just put your email in. So that's what it's going to be. That's what we're asking for. It gets really confusing with the correlation between producer points and master royalties. So if you don't want to get into all the nitty gritty stuff, just know, don't put any less than 20% master royalties. I did 30%, do whatever you'd like. Most of the producers I'm either working with or I'm helping out or I'm talking to don't have this. So even just putting this one thing out of all the things we're talking about in this video today, if you do this one thing, it's going to put you miles ahead of everyone else that are selling beats on YouTube. And it just protects you because if a song blows up, this is really where the money is. So make sure to add that in. By the way, if you want to learn the same strategies and tools that I use to grow my channel and create a full-time beat selling business, then I got something for you. It's called the Type Beat Planner. It's a resource and planner I made especially for producers who want to grow their YouTube channel and beat selling business in 2025. It includes lots of useful things like a beat upload planner, tools on how to find your niche, checklists for YouTube and BeatStars, and a bunch of exclusive bonus videos on topics like productivity and collecting royalties from Content ID. If you're interested, it'll be the first link down in the description. Number 4, you need to be claiming your beats with Content ID. So the definition of Content ID is a system that helps copyright owners identify and manage their content on YouTube. So it's basically a database of audio files and video files that allow the copyright owners to tag things and then claim the revenue from them. What this means for us as type beat producers is you can claim videos that are using your beats. So this really comes in handy when it's like a free for nonprofit type of a situation where an artist is using it, just posting it on YouTube, and they're not making any money from it. So in this case, you should be able to go in, claim that video, and all the ad revenue should go to you. It also comes in handy depending on your license agreement. If you have a license agreement that doesn't allow Content ID or getting revenue on YouTube up until a certain amount. So all my license agreements, except for the unlimited license, don't allow people to monetize on YouTube. So it's kind of like an incentive to get artists to upgrade to the unlimited license. Another way using Content ID is helpful is to find people who are stealing your beats. So depending on the type of Content ID software you're using, it's going to show you all the uses of your beats. And most of the time you're going to find people that you had no idea that they were using your beats. In some cases, it could be a lot of views on their videos and their music videos and stuff like that. And then you could hit up the artist and be like, yo, did you get a license for this? A lot of the time they didn't. So now you can get them to get a license. If there's any royalties that you're owed, you can start getting those. And it really just helps you fill the gap between the things you know about and the things you don't know about. Another reason that you should use Content ID for your beats is because then it prevents other artists from using Content ID on your very same beats. And what I mean by this is you should already have it probably in your YouTube description, or you tell artists like, yo, you're not allowed to claim claim content ID on my beat. And the reason is, if they claim content ID on that song or the beat, it's gonna then start flagging everyone else who's ever used that beat before. And it's a total nightmare and it's a total headache. So by you claiming the beat first with content ID, it doesn't allow anyone else to do it, which is super helpful. And then if there's a use where someone's using it and you're cool with it, you can just go in and just like release the claim, and it's a super easy thing. You could also whitelist channels depending on what software you're using, and it just makes it really easy. Number 5. Beat selling is not dead. I started in 2022, way after internet money and all these big producers said that beat selling is dead. But since starting, I've created a full-time business selling beats, and I've gotten all my major placements from ZBeatz, which is just crazy to think about. This has led to not just money from selling beat licenses, but also master royalties, mechanical royalties, and publishing royalties. And most importantly, I get to do what I love every day. So I am so glad that I didn't listen to all those people back then. And more hits are being made with BeatStars beats. For example, the new Jello song Tweaker was a BeatStars beat, and there's also Old Town Road and Whoopty, which were both YouTube beats. So if you need another reminder, selling beats online is 100% not dead. And I'm telling you, if you talk to any other successful music producer on YouTube, they'll tell you the exact same thing. Number 6, you probably don't need to start a new type beat channel. So most times you don't need to start a new channel. This is something that I always hear people asking, like, yo, I'm not getting views, I'm not getting sales, like, should I start a new type beat channel? Let me just say that there's only a couple scenarios where I would recommend getting a new channel, and that's gonna be like if you had started posting vlogs and other types of content. If you're completely changing your niche up, like maybe you started posting jazz type beats and now you're gonna do like Bring Me the Horizon type beats, yeah, maybe in that scenario I'd also recommend having a new type beat channel. But for all other situations, I would not recommend starting a new channel. And the algorithm goes through changes every year or so, and sometimes everyone's views are down, and it has nothing to do with what you're actually doing. So if you're in that scenario, I'd highly recommend reaching out to some of your other fellow type beat producers and be like, yo, are your views down? Are your sales down? Because most likely they are too, and everyone's kind of experiencing the same thing. And in those times where views are down, I'd use it as an opportunity to just put those reps in, keep up with your schedule, just keep doing it, because it will come back around. And by having all those beats that you continued on doing consistently, it's just gonna make it more and more likely for you to have another beat just totally take off and start getting lots and lots of views and lots of beat sales. And one other thing I'd like to add here too is sometimes people are like, yo, I have lots of different type beat channels because I make lots of different types of beats. So one is for this and one is for that. At the end of the day, like, you should really be spending all your time for one specific thing. Like I said before, really nail down your SEO, make sure that you have a great SEO strategy, and really be doing it for like 5 or 6 months. And I promise you're gonna have success. Number 7, exclusives usually aren't worth it. So in my experience, keeping your beats up online gives you the best chance of success with selling beats and getting major label placements. I know some people like to do exclusives, but in a lot of cases, it ends up being a lot more bad than good. And there's been a bunch of times where I almost sold exclusives, but I didn't, and those beats ended up becoming really popular and making me way more money. If someone reaches out to you wanting to buy an exclusive for one of your beats, what I recommend doing is going into your sales dashboard and seeing from the very beginning of when you posted the beat to now how much money you've made. If you've made like $300 to $500 on the beat, most times it's gonna end up continuing to sell, and like more and more money is gonna be generated in the future. So in those cases, I probably wouldn't end up selling the exclusive. And if you have a beat that's made you like thousands of dollars already, it's not worth it, because that beat is gonna continue to sell. And in my experience, unless the beat hasn't sold at all, it's really not worth it to sell an exclusive. And even in those cases where it hasn't sold at all, it may still not be worth it to sell an exclusive. And most of my biggest songs I produced were beat leases, not exclusives, which means that I get to continue to sell that exact same beat while that song is doing crazy numbers. And one thing I also see people doing, which is a big no-no, is never sell an exclusive for your most popular beat. Sometimes I'll see people that have beats that have like 100,000 or 500,000 views on YouTube. If that's your most popular beat and it's getting crazy numbers like that on YouTube, never sell the exclusive for it, because it's going to continue to grow and you're going to make way more money in the future by not selling it. And the last thing to keep in mind is if you do end up deciding you want to sell an exclusive, make sure you're still getting your 50% publishing on it, you're getting your master royalties, which we already talked about, and getting everything else. Because just because someone wants to get an exclusive from you doesn't mean that it's a full buyout. And if someone wants a full buyout from you, don't do it. You never know what's going to happen with that song, and if that song blows up and you did a full buyout, you're not entitled to anything else. Never do a full buyout. Make sure that you're still getting your publishing, your master royalties, all the good stuff. I hope you learned a lot from this. Make sure to subscribe so I can keep making more videos like these, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.